In this video, I'm going to talk about something that happens to authors frequently. Many think it's a bad thing, but you can actually make it work for you. It's called drift, and we're going to talk about it coming right up. Drift. It's when you find yourself doing something you didn't plan, or when you find that you've lost energy on a project and wish you were working on something else. So, you do something else. This also meets the definition of procrastination. Procrastination is bad, but only when you're aimless. You know, those people that sit around and talk about how they're going to write a novel someday but never do. They're procrastinators. And in every sense of the word, they're not using their energy and resources effectively. But when you have purpose and you are otherwise doing a good job hitting your writing goals, you're not actually procrastinating. Because, let's face it, even the best of us, even the most productive of all of us authors, still end up drifting sometimes. Let me talk about drift and how it affects authors in a couple of ways. The first way that drift can help you is when you're writing a project that you shouldn't be writing. For example, you're writing a series that you think will be a good hit, but turns out it's not such a good idea for various reasons. You try to write it, but your mind just keeps drifting on to other projects. This is your subconscious telling you that you need to do something else. After you've drifted for a few days, and if you listen to yourself, you'll probably discover this gradually. Last year, I was writing a nonfiction book that I thought would be a good thing to launch for the Author Level Up channel. I got about 25% of the way through it and realized it just wasn't a good idea because I wasn't ready to write it yet. Thank goodness for drift, because I ended up working on another project which did much better. The second way you might experience drift is when you're writing a novel and your subconscious runs out of gas. You're in the middle of a scene or you've just finished a chapter, but you're not sure where to go next, so your mind wanders. You get away from your desk, go for a walk, or live a little, and it turns out that that's exactly what your subconscious wanted you to do, because maybe you're at the farmer's market and you see something that inspires you for the next section of your story, or a friend tells you a funny story that you can work into the book. You get the picture. So you see how in that case, drift really isn't procrastination, because you ended up with something that pushed your story forward. That's why I talk about drift and why it can be a good thing. It can help you pick the right project first and foremost, and power through some of the rough spots in the projects that you do choose. So if you find yourself drifting, sometimes it's best just to go with the flow. Because let's face it, no one is 100% productive all the time. We're not robots. I talk all the time about how you have to have fun with what you're doing. The other day I stumbled upon some of my old music that I wrote years ago. I was coming up on a novel deadline and I knew I needed to work on my book, but I decided to listen to my old music instead and go back down memory lane. Sure, it put me behind schedule, but when I came back to the book, I was energized and I felt great. Always make sure you're feeling great about what you're working on. Don't force yourself in this profession, guys. It's not healthy and there's just no point. Trust me on that. Easy said, but very hard to do. Of course, when we talk about drift, there is a danger, and I have to mention this because I'm sure there are people that will take this the wrong way, but there is the danger that you'll drift all the time and never get any work done. That's procrastination. But remember, you have to know your purpose and be committed to it. If you're watching this channel, then most of you don't have that problem. Remember, it's only procrastination if you don't use it for the greater good of your career. So don't be so hard on yourself the next time you drift. You might find that it's exactly what you needed. That's it for this video. If this is your first time watching, I'd love to have you subscribe. And if this video helped you in some way, do me a favor and click that like button. Thanks for watching.